Hey everybody, welcome back. Another episode of Building Better Bodies with Devin and the Docs. Dr. Amir Rashidian here. This is my wife, Brandy, and obviously you know Devin Brady, the amazing personal trainer and bodybuilder. So we've been working out with Devin, Brandy and I have been, and by the way, we're competing. Do you want to show them your biceps yet?
I don't want to make you nervous about the competition, so I'm going to hold off for.
All right. So we'll hold off. We'll figure something out because one of the things we wanted to talk about eventually is how do we track our measurements and how do we report to you guys, to ourselves, you know, what progress we're making. But this is our second week of bodybuilding training. So why don't you tell everybody what your experience has been so far and what you're thinking and.
Well, I've been really excited. It is hard work. I think this is the hardest I've worked in a really long time. And it's funny because the first week, and I think you even said this to me because he knows me well and he knows sometimes I have a hard time pulling back. So when I go, a lot of times I go all out because I'm ultra competitive and I'm going to beat him. So I can't do that holding back. But he said, don't do too much to where you get injured this first week. Like just be cautious, a little bit cautious. Because he also knows Devin's really good at pushing us. So, and our first week together, I did hold back just a little bit. And it's funny, coming into the second week, on our first couple of workouts, Devin was like, what was last week? And so that was actually fun to see that even though I had taken some time off from lifting, and I've never had this kind of program for the record. Right. It was really neat to see just the muscle memory, you know, kick back in and to see I hadn't lost as much strength as what, you know, I had thought I had. What was surprising and different in our workouts with you versus what I've had with trainers in the past, and I don't call you a trainer, I actually call you our bodybuilding coach. Okay. So I'm probably going to have to redo your One Life Fitness shirt because it is so different. It feels different. Yeah. I've been with a lot of trainers before and that program works well for some people, and so it's not to put it down, but a lot will put you on a treadmill, you'll go for a little bit, and then you do, you know, just a few things here or there, but it doesn't feel as focused as what it feels like when we're training with you in the program and the workouts that you give us. So it feels so focused, and I was blown away that my ending weight last week with our exercises was my starting weight with this week. So, which I'm expecting to be even more sore this week than I was last week. But that was very different. That was a different experience than what I was anticipating.
Wonderful. Yeah, so to help explain to some of the viewers some of those principles that Brandy is talking about. So one of the things that's essential specifically to bodybuilding, hypertrophy training, and progress is the concept of progressive overload. So what that means is, and I applaud those of you at home or other people that I see in the gym who keep records, okay? That's an essential practice that I look for, not only in myself, but in other people at the gym. You can see them carrying around books, notepads, jotting down between sets. This is a crucial practice. I think a lot of people find it cumbersome. A lot of people can find it taxing or obtrusive. They don't want to have to carry the book around, the pen around. They don't want to stop between each set and jot things down. But the reason this is of critical importance is because we're all human, right? Our lives are busy. We have busy days, busy weeks. And in any split, oftentimes you're only working any particular body part once or twice a week. So oftentimes a number of days has elapsed since the last time you did that exercise, that body part. If you're not tracking it, we're all susceptible to just forget. Be close in the ballpark. The problem is, and the thing that Brandy's experiencing now is that effective training happens each rep of each set. There's not going to be any time that Dr. Amir and Brandy aren't working out that I'm not there, I'm not with them, I'm engaged, I'm helping her, I'm coaching her through each rep, not any set. I'm not twiddling my thumbs, I'm not walking off. It's more of a coach-like relationship, which I think that you're experiencing. And the reason being is that each rep is important, and in order to know where we're going, we have to know where we've been. So that's why tracking is very, very important concept. in effective training. And it's something that I suggest if you're not in the process of doing or you're not in the act of doing, try it. Try it for yourself.
I even write down which machine I was on because I know like the lat pull down at the closest to the water fountain seems a little lighter than the one further down, or I'll write down if I use because there's one bar that's extra long. I'll write down if I use that one versus another.
Absolutely.
You know, use a heavier bar. Actually, the weight's less because it pulls a little.
right, and that's a great point that Dr. Amir makes, and even in the same commercial gym setting as we've experienced. A lot of times your weight stacks can be different, you know, and that's affected based on the number of pulleys. So you have to be mindful of the number of pulleys in the system. As obviously more pulleys means it's going to alleviate more of the weight before it transfers it to you, the person performing the action. So if the weight, one 40 stack and the other 40 stack can feel radically different. And we've all been there, we all know it. And it's just like running an experiment, right? We're treating our body as a machine, we're investing in ourselves, so we need to control the variables to make sure the results we're seeing and the progress we're making is as controlled as possible.
And we also talked about injury, right? So anytime first off, injury is part of life. I mean, people get injured, you know, you can get hurt crossing the street, you can get hurt picking up a box off the floor, you can get hurt reading a book if you read it the wrong way.
It's true. In bed, you're not supposed to do that.
You gotta be really good at getting injured if that's the case. But you know what I mean. You can get injured. So you can't be afraid of getting injured. But like we talked about, if you have the right coach, then you know whether something is an injury or something is good pain. And one thing I mentioned before we start recording was, I have read a lot of magazines. You know, there's fitness magazines. There was this old magazine called Muscle Media that's not there anymore. And then, you know, obviously bodybuilding magazines are plenty. And so a lot of these fitness gurus who had the physique to prove that they knew what they're talking about, they always talked about the pain. You gotta feel the pain. And I kept thinking, okay, they're talking about being sore afterwards, which is also pain. But it seemed like they were talking about this pain that you feel while you're in the gym, that you go through the pain, that you know, kind of like, I think we mentioned this earlier, Muhammad Ali had said, I don't start counting. They said, how many sit-ups do you do every day? He said, I don't start counting till it hurts. And I go, wow, you know, I haven't felt that pain. I can tell you now with certainty, I have felt that pain.
That's right.
Because we've been training, right? We've been training the way these bodybuilders say to train.
That's right.
And so many people just, when the mind says you're done, they put the weight down. But if you're training with Deven, you'll probably do another, you know, several repetitions.
Probably a drop set's going to be thrown in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think it's not just, and you know, I'm thinking through because we're in the gym now 6 days a week, which you know, we're just as busy as everyone else. That's hard to do. So I think it's not just the pain of being sore and not just the pain of the reps that you're doing. It's the pain of having to figure out how to get there. And I think even when you don't feel like it, I do not have time to be there today. I'm just gonna be. I didn't have time yesterday, and I didn't have time Monday, but I'm gonna be there because I'm already like it is. But also because of how we're working out, like we're building the traction. I feel like we're gaining is so much faster than traction I've gained in the past. Where I'm like, man, let's do it. I'm gonna figure out how to do it. I don't care if I have to haul all the kids with me, and you know, and make it happen this afternoon. I hate working out in the afternoons, but now we're hitting that point where if I don't do it, I'm not gonna get it in. So, and I promised, so I'm gonna get it in.
And that's a really great example. And I think a good key concept that focuses on is the plan helps. And I can tell you that just even in my relatively small experience in the field, there's a clear correlation between your amount and percentage of success and your ability to pre-plan. If you come in there with no plan, if you come in there with no guidance, no one to help you, no resources to utilize at your disposal, it's very, very difficult for you to truly start from scratch and build any kind of positive momentum like Brandy's talking about. So that's often when I consult with clients and new members and people looking to just start their journey, I want to make sure that they have the appropriate pieces in place to write the plan. The program design is crucial, because then it almost gets mechanical. There's no time for your body to second guess, is this something I want to do? Is this something I can do? You just do it, because every day is planned, your progress is planned, you know what you need to do. So it's almost a fitness by numbers at that point.
It's like showing up to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We always don't feel like it, but it's something we have to do.
That's right. That's right. I ran into a guy who said, I got a part-time job, and I know this guy because he's very wealthy. He owns a business. I mean, why would you get a part-time job? He said, I show up at 5:30 in the morning. I only work for an hour a day, but the health benefits are amazing, so I'm going to keep it. And he said until I started to think of it as a part-time job, I didn't get consistent with it. But every time I've had a job, I did a great job. I shined and I got results. So if I think of it like my part-time job, I'm going to get those results. So that's why we show up. That's why we don't miss a day. That's why we put up with the pain.
Exactly.
Because it's our job now, and we made that commitment. So
Yeah.
you guys need to come join us.
Come
Come watch us. One day we may even tell you what day and time we're working at, so you can come watch us if you want. But we're not ready for that yet.
He keeps signing me up for stuff. I don't know what this is.
But you guys can show up. Go to One Life South on Lucky Soundbite. Ask for Deven and just say you saw a video and you want your 7-day pass. You get a 7-day pass for free, and chat with Deven. Maybe even start a program just like us, and see what happens. I don't think you'll regret it. You'll be glad.
You'll be very thankful you did.